How's it going, everyone? It is I, Anime Outlet, and this is part 3 of What If Naruto Had the Rinnegan. And now, before we begin, I would just like to ask you all to please put your what if suggestions down in the comments section below. And now, let's begin. We resume this what if with Naruto having just been given 1 month to train for the final part of the Chunin exams. So Naruto would end up just be walking outside one day where he would end up meeting one of the 3 Sannin, where he would meet Jiraiya. So basically the 1 month would go like everything else, except Naruto already knows the Rasengan, and he can call upon just the Nine-Tailed Demon Fox's chakra easier because of his Rinnegan, allowing for him to have just more chakra control and even more chakra from the get-go as well. So because of this, Naruto would easily be able to summon Gamabuta, and after summoning Gamabuta, he would end up just realizing just how powerful Naruto was, how he easily was able to summon him, and how he had the Rinnegan at such a young age, which would allow for Gamabuta to have some trust in Naruto, but not much, as Naruto was still just some new kid, and he wasn't like someone who had been summoning him for years, who he had complete trust for. So we end up going back to the third and final event in the Chunin exams, where we end up seeing Naruto's fight against Neji, which it will go pretty much exactly like in canon. Neji tells the just here's the Hyuga clan story, and just all of this that Naruto ends up winning, of course, and basically every single fight goes the exact same. However, Sasuke's match would end up being disqualified, as Sasuke's hunger to constantly just beat Naruto would just continue even further from the point far beyond what it was in canon, as Naruto has the Rinnegan, he has the Nine-Tailed Demon Fox Kurama, I don't know how to pronounce it, Kurama, I haven't pronounced it in over a year, so my apologies if I do end up mispronouncing it. So Sasuke just doesn't have this sheer power that Naruto has. So Sasuke would continuously, relentlessly train with Kakashi, just saying, I gotta do better. Every Chidori he would do, just telling himself, I gotta keep going, and each one would be better than the last. He'd barely give him any time, any breaks. He would just keep going on and on, as he was just so sure he would be able to beat Naruto in the finals of these Chunin exams, prove to the world that he truly was the best. So his match, because of his endless hunger to try to just get stronger and stronger, would cause him to be disqualified. After 3 times, the third Hokage would extend the time limit. The Kazekage would finally have enough, giving the go-ahead as the Sand Ninja would rein in, starting an attack. As the third Hokage would stand up during what had happened, Kazekage would take the third Hokage up to the roof of the Chunin exam building. As he would be up, he would stare towards him. It's nice to finally meet you again. Revealing his true disguise as Orochimaru. As all of this ninja would end up putting a genjutsu on everyone, as this would cause everyone to fall asleep, except Sakura, Naruto, and Shikamaru. So, they would all be just there, as Naruto would end up looking up towards the third Hokage, seeing that he was in trouble, seeing Orochimaru, that guy that had just been in the Forest of Death with them. Naruto would just activating the just Nine-Tailed Demon Fox's chakra, jumping up towards him, going in for a Rasengan right onto Orochimaru's face. Going for it, however, Orochimaru would smack it away, as Naruto would glide to a halt. The third Hokage would look towards him, yelling for him to leave. However, Naruto would shake his head, signifying that he wasn't leaving anytime soon. You can't beat this guy. He's far too powerful. I know you're a Hokage, but still. As the third Hokage would look towards him, just shaking his head. Naruto, you don't understand. You have to go. He would yell, as Naruto would once again shake his head. I can't just leave you here. He's going to kill you. So with Naruto up with the third Hokage, and Sasuke and Kakashi nowhere to be found, Gaara and along with his team would easily manage to escape, as they would end up leaving or just fighting with everyone else, possibly going off into the middle of Konoha to possibly cause even more destruction. So Naruto would stay back fighting Orochimaru, as the third Hokage would yell at Naruto to leave once more. However, this wouldn't happen again, as Might Guy would end up just fighting all of the other Sand Ninja that would continue to pour deep inside of the Chunin exam. Just a palace thing, as Might Guy along with the rest of the Jonin would end up attacking them, easily taking all of them out with ease, taking just a little bit longer due to Kakashi not being there. So as other Sand Ninja would end up performing a seal to keep all other ninja out of just this fight against Orochimaru and the third Hokage, while also making sure no one else could enter in. So because of this, they would all be stuck there, as this fight would pretty much go the exact same way as it does in canon, except for the fact that Naruto is there. And since he is there, he would know and see just the true power of that of Orochimaru. So as he would be watching the fight from the lines, having been whacked aside by Orochimaru so hard that it had basically placed him out of commission for a good 10 minutes. So he would be watching as the first and second Hokage would be summoned, how the fight with the third would commence, and just all of this fighting, when finally Naruto would end up opening the King of Hell, consuming by it before stepping out. As he would be fully healed, would stretch his arms, his limbs back, or looking around, wondering where he had gone. So he would look up. The third Hokage was about to strike down on Orochimaru, so he would end up dodging this. So the third Hokage was about to just cause a sealing technique onto Orochimaru to seal him away, sealing his soul away. As this would end up happening, however, it would only end up taking effect on Orochimaru's arms. So the third Hokage would end up dying. Naruto would take the opportunity. With the Rasengan out, he would access the power of the Demon Fox, as he would end up accessing as much power as he could, as a massive ball of just chakra would be around him. He would be holding it in his hand before plunging the ball deep into Orochimaru's stomach, as he would go cleanly through it. Orochimaru's body would drop to his knees, holding his stomach in pain before dropping down dead. As the seal or just the jutsu around them would end up ceasing, just all the Sand Ninja would be taken out, as the Chunin would all see that the third Hokage was dead. There they would see Naruto holding his wrist in pain, as he would end up falling down to the ground, falling right on his butt, staring towards the body of Orochimaru, sort of just awkwardly laughing. I killed him. I really killed him. With his head was off, as Might Guy would walk up to him, asking him what he meant, as he would point towards Orochimaru, this shaking, seeing that Orochimaru was powerful enough to kill a Hokage, and now he was able to kill him. Sure, he was weak, but still, it was no just easy task. Standing there, sitting there with his hands up on his head, just thinking what could have been. So with it revealed that Orochimaru was just killed the Kazekage, and in his place, the sand village would end up just giving up, surrendering, as Gaara and the rest of his team would end up realizing that their entire plan and scheme wasn't even from the real Kazekage. So because of this, it would all basically just wonder what would have happened if what they had planned to kill Sasuke had actually came to fruition. What could have been. So, as we end up jumping forward to see Jiraiya just seeing he wanted to take Naruto with him to find a good fit for the new 5th Hokage. So would end up nodding his head, taking Naruto off to find wherever Tsunade just happened to be. So we cut forward to now see Naruto sitting in a hotel room, just waiting for Jiraiya to get back from chasing off some random girl. And up hearing a knock on the door, as there, standing in front of the door, is 2 Akatsuki members, one of them being the Itachi Uchiha that happened to kill the entirety of the Uchiha clan. So as Naruto was there looking at them, kind of confused, as both of them would stare on towards Naruto, the young boy in front of them would jump towards them, instantly recognizing them as threats. With a kunai out, he would slash towards one of them as Itachi would block it with a kunai now in his hand. You're gonna have to go a lot harder than that if you think you're gonna beat us. He would say this before rushing Naruto. However, he would be blocked by a Chidori by Sasuke, who, hearing about Kakashi's defeat against these Akatsuki, would end up rushing to find Naruto. Finding him, he would end up trying to attack Itachi. So with this attack, Itachi would only slash it aside before going in for a killing blow on Sasuke, deciding to finish what he had started all the way back then. However, before he could do any of that, Jiraiya would block this attack with ease. You're gonna have to stronger than that, he would say, mocking Itachi. So this fight would end up ensuing, with Naruto basically just being on the sidelines watching Jiraiya take on the 2 Akatsuki members, where Itachi and Kisame would end up just being chased out by Jiraiya. With them gone, Sasuke would go back to just a hospital, being severely injured by Itachi, so his search for Tsunade would end up beginning. So as the search would commence, Naruto and Jiraiya would both look all around all sorts of towns, where they would end up finding Tsunade within just some sort of restaurant eating dinner. Once Naruto would end up walking up to her, asking her if she would like to become the 5th Hokage, which she would and easily strike down, saying that she has no interest in becoming something as so subliminal as being some Hokage, some overlord or dictator of an entire village. She really had no time for that. All she had time for was rolling stakes at a slot machine. So as Naruto would slam his fists on the ground, he would yell towards Jiraiya why they had to come out towards all this way and find Tsunade if she's not even willing to be a Hokage. As Naruto would end up making a bet, pointing to himself, that he probably could even beat her if he doesn't want to become a Hokage, that she's probably not even strong enough to be one. As Naruto would the Tsunade, angered, standing up, would say that she could probably beat him with this single finger. So the two would end up going outside, where they would end up fighting. Naruto would use his Rasengan, launching towards Tsunade, who would barely manage to dodge, and even part that didn't manage to dodge fully would have just a massive gash right there, where it had hit. As she would stare down towards it, she would, her head smiling. Wow, that's quite the jutsu you have there. It's quite familiar. Stopping the fight right there, Tsunade would ask how Naruto had managed to make the jutsu so strong even when he's so young, where Jiraiya would then walk up to him, patting him on the back and saying how he was the one who managed to kill Orochimaru, where she would end up looking up kind of shocked, hearing the name of one of her teammates, wondering, what do you mean killed him? Did he actually end up killing? She would say with an emphasis. Jiraiya would just nod his head. Yep, Orochimaru attacked the village. Naruto watched as the third Hokage fought him, and then Naruto finished him off, knowing the danger that Orochimaru had managed, or the danger he held within himself. Wow, it's quite impressive, she would say, and just wanting to follow Naruto further, seeing how powerful he just happened to be, she would end up giving him a bet. If Naruto could end up mastering the Rasengan in under a week, then not only would she give him this necklace that she had on, she also will become the 5th Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village. Naruto, and just the search for a Hokage to be finished, would end up taking the deal, and through week he would end up trying over and over again to master the Rasengan, which was a feat even by the prodigy that was Naruto, way too just hard to manage, as he was still far too young to be capable of just managing all of his chakra, and since he couldn't use his chakra to its fullest ability, he couldn't just master the Rasengan. However, halfway through the week, he would end up combining something that was one of Sasuke's newest moves, the Chidori. Seeing Kakashi use it once or maybe twice, Naruto would end up just combining it, remembering just Kakashi's moves carefully before combining it with the Rasengan, creating his own jutsu, the Rasengan Chidori, or the Chidori Rasengan. With this, a very powerful wind lightning attack would end up being formed, and once the week was over, Tsunade would stand apart from Naruto, as Naruto would charge towards her. With one hand far away, he would use a single small Rasengan, shooting it on Tsunade, which was only a distraction. She would easily block this, where he would then reveal Naruto with a lightning Rasengan, or Chidori Rasengan, in his hand. About to strike, Tsunade would use her arms to block herself from this attack, pushing Naruto back, before flicking him in the head with her finger, causing Naruto to jump backwards, landing down. Where Tsunade would smile. I'm impressed. Not only did you make a new move, but that Rasengan of yours got quite the fair bit more powerful. Great job, Naruto. So Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Naruto would all return back to Konoha, where they would end up having Tsunade become the 5th Hokage. After this, however, Team 7's missions would end up continuing like normal, with Sasuke unaware that Orochimaru had basically been killed. So, this would be happening. Sasuke still wanting to beat Naruto, and this time not having the Chunin exams to do it, would end up challenging him to a fight, where Naruto and Sasuke would both rush each other after a few brief blows with a kunai and fist. So as both of them would rush each other, Naruto would prepare his Chidori Rasengan, as Sasuke would prepare his Chidori. Sasuke, looking at Naruto's Chidori Rasengan, would notice something weird, how it was sort of a mix between his Chidori and something else. However, right before it would both land, Naruto and Sasuke's attacks would both be slammed away from each other into two separate water towers, as Sasuke's blows looked massive on the front. However, when he glanced towards Naruto's, the entire water tower had been completely vaporized. It was gone. As he would stare in shock and confusion, if Kakashi hadn't jumped in the way, would Naruto really have killed him? That attack surely would have. Sasuke grudgingly just shake his head, gritting his teeth before jumping off, as Kakashi would towards him, yelling for him to stop, for he wouldn't, leaving off to go think about his actions, wondering what would have happened, what just could have been. Kakashi would end up chasing down Sasuke before telling him how he shouldn't just go out uselessly searching for power, as power doesn't come easily. There's always going to be people that train a lot harder than you, and that should only give you motivation to train harder than them, to work harder, be stronger than them, to basically improve every aspect. If you see someone else improving faster, better, and you are, then you should do you should try to combat that, do better than that. As it would end up shaking his head before going back to his house, never leaving the village. And that is where part 3 of What If Naruto Had the Rinnegan comes to an end. I hope you all did enjoy it, and if you did, please consider subscribing, as it really does help this channel out, and you can even be notified when the other parts of this video do end up coming out. I thank you all for watching once again, and goodbye.